Hey guys, alright. Matt, aka Joke 2 Driver, scale 4x4. Obviously, second video in the series here with the build. What I'm showing you today is the, obviously, the shock build. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too particularly complicated about this. Just a bunch of small parts. You got to make sure they all go together in the right order. Some rubber O-rings and some plastic spacers in the base of the shock here, as I'm showing you, and then obviously screwing it in. And that's the bottom of the shock body itself. Next, obviously, is going to be the shock shaft. Kind of pointing out which side is top and bottom because it obviously makes a difference. There's a little flat spot towards the bottom, so use that for the pliers to help you hold it. But you got some plastic spacers and some washers, and then obviously the lock nut. Hold it all together. And so just tighten it down. And just tighten. And then you can go ahead and insert it into the shock, you'll see, and make sure everything kind of slides and fits through there nicely. You want to just check it a little bit. Putting in a bump stop, for lack of a better word, a little rubber bushing. I'm calling it a bump stop. And then you'll find your ball end. Make sure you pick the right one. There's several of them in the kit, so you just got to make sure you pick the correct one. And then the right ball that goes in it as well. There's several of those as well, so you want to make sure that you get the right one. It's pretty easy to find out. Just make sure you get the right one. And you can see this is my method of tightening them all down. After lots of times trying to figure out the best way to do it. A little tool like that helps, and that's just one of the Allen drivers I've got just in there to help twist it and spin it around more quickly. Be careful not to over tighten it so that you don't put pressure on the ball in there and it doesn't move as freely. Next is obviously the shock oil. That's a 30 weight. That's standard axial stuff. Comes with every kit. I generally fill it up to about, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so from the top. Enough room to space, and I try to bleed them out a little bit by moving the shaft up and down. Get any air bubbles out. It's just something I do. Axials instructions don't necessarily call for it, but it's something I've learned to do. And then I add, if there's need, I add some. Just kind of get it near the top, not all the way to the top, because I don't want it to gush over. And there's the spring adjustment ring that goes on there. Probably should have put that on before, but hey. And then the little rubber gasket that goes in there, it goes under the cap, a little space. Get everything tightened down, check it, make sure it moves smoothly, and there you go. Tighten that down, make sure there's no leaking. Alright, next, now I'm putting in the springs. So you've got the, jumped ahead of myself. Spring, then the retainer. There we go, tighten it down. I just tighten it down to where the spring had just enough tension to kind of hold it in place. Check it, make sure it works right. And same step, another one. Make sure everything's tight, tune them down, look at them, make sure they're pretty close. Next is inserting this little rubber bushing or whatever you want to grommet into the top of the shock shaft, the shock body for the upper mount. It's a little bit of a bear to get in there, but you just kind of force it and it'll go. Alright, now it's the drive shafts. So these are a little fiddly. You've got some very small shafts and pins that have to go in the proper places. So you want to make sure, try to keep everything where if you drop it that it's going to stay where you can find it. These are all of these pieces right here are metal, so you want to make sure that you just got everything together. And it goes together pretty smoothly. The hardest part, as you can see, is just chasing down that pin that holds the two parts of the universal joints together. And you pop on your retention ring, and there you go. And then next is a screw through the drive shaft. You're going to put a little bit of Loctite. And so you insert it there, it sticks out. And then you bolt in the universal joint. And again, same process for the other half of the drive shaft. Slide it through. And tighten it up, and there you go. Put them together, and you've got a drive shaft, and you're done.